Stan Jabalisco here. Once again, a little more of a tutorial in reading and drawing schematic diagrams based on this book, Beginner's Guide to Reading Schematics, published by McGraw-Hill. 3rd edition just came out in October of 2013, courtesy of yours truly, Stan Jabalisco, and the name is probably cut off at the bottom of the screen here. But as you can see underneath this book, I have quadrille paper, otherwise known as graph paper, and I would like to introduce some very basic symbols that engineers use in schematic diagrams. The resistor, the capacitor, fixed capacitor. Here is a diode, semiconductor diode. And here is an electrochemical battery. The minus terminal in the battery symbol is the short line. Positive terminal is the long line. That always confuses me because when you take a flashlight cell, for example, a AA cell or a D cell, the flat side like that is the negative terminal and then the little button is positive. So I've always been a little bit confused as to why they did it like that. This is, in any case, a battery, a diode. The cathode is that line, the anode is that arrow. Electrons flow through a semiconductor diode against the arrow. This is electron flow now. And they can't generally flow in the direction of the arrow. But conventional current, which goes from plus to minus, flows in the direction of the arrow. Actually, conventional current doesn't flow because the actual objects that move in a conductor like this are electrons. A little bit of theory for you there. The capacitor, fixed capacitor. You may wonder why one of these lines is curved and the other one is straight. Once in a while, as an alternative symbol, you'll just see two straight lines like that. But the curved line is generally the one that goes more directly to chassis ground or earth ground. Notice the difference in the ground symbols. Earth ground is like a ground rod driven right into the soil, a direct connection to that. Or an electrical ground like the electrical ground in your utility outlets, which goes ultimately to a ground rod like that. A chassis ground is the common connection on a circuit board, the metal chassis of an older piece of electronic equipment. Anyway, the curved line generally goes more directly to ground when you have a capacitor with one curved symbol like that. The resistor, the way I like to do it is seven zigzags, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. That is the conventional symbol for a resistor. You may occasionally see a resistor symbolized like this. But anyway, this is a fixed resistor. If you want to indicate a variable resistor or potentiometer, you have a tap, and that's indicated by an arrow that goes like that. So you slide this tap or move this tap along the resistance element, and you can kind of intuitively see what will happen. This is an electrochemical battery. If you want to indicate a solar battery, like a bunch of solar cells connected together, you put a couple little arrows there like that. Then you get a solar battery. So those are just a few very basic symbols, schematic symbols that you will encounter. Others that you may see: an incandescent bulb looks something like this. Whereas a light-emitting diode bulb would look something like that. A diode with a little circle and some arrows. Sometimes the circle isn't there. So those are a couple more schematic symbols that you will occasionally encounter as you work your way through electricity and electronics. Speaking of which, I may also recommend this book for you, Teach Yourself Electricity and Electronics. The 5th edition is the most recent, the current edition, also by yours truly, and also whose name is cut off at the bottom of the screen, but heck, you know, I've been cut off at the bottom of people's screens all my life. I'm used to it. So you get these two books together, and I think they make a pretty good combination, just in my opinion. Stan Gibilisco, from the Black Hills of Dakota Territory, United States of America. Until next time, so long.